Did you know that 7 years ago, Ohioans voted to end gerrymandering in Ohio? Yet Ohio is still one of the most gerrymandered states in the entire country. So you might be asking, what happened? Why are we still so gerrymandered? I'll give you one guess. That's right, Ohio Republicans. If you remember, 7 years ago in 2018, Ohioans voted to add an amendment to our Constitution to get rid of gerrymandering in Ohio. That issue was so popular, it passed with 75% of people voting in favor of it. That's how much Ohioans hate gerrymandering. Let's break this all down. First of all, Ohio's situation is different than what is happening in Texas and other states when it comes to redistricting. See, Ohio's current congressional maps are illegal, and they have been illegal for years. They've been ruled unconstitutional by the Ohio Supreme Court like 5 times, and the Republicans have just completely ignored these rulings. So when we passed that amendment 7 years ago to end gerrymandering, which Republicans have ignored, it says those maps have to be approved by the minority party. Since they're gerrymandered in favor of Republicans, Democrats have said nope. So our maps have to be redrawn mid-decade. Usually the maps are drawn every 10 years after the census is taken. Our gerrymandered maps started back in 2011 when Obama was in power. The congressional makeup in Ohio at that time was Dems had 10 seats, Republicans had 8. And guess what? The GOP, they didn't like that. So they held a closed-door meeting to gerrymander the crap out of Ohio. Yes, both parties have used gerrymandering over the years, but it's really the Republicans who have perfected the art of it since Reagan was in power. So what's happening this fall in Ohio is that Republicans want to take our illegal maps and make them even more illegal to help them pick up a few more seats. Right now, Ohio has 15 congressional seats. Fun fact, that's down from 18 when Obama was in power. Why do we keep losing congressional seats? We lose seats when our population goes down because people keep leaving Ohio. Who's been in charge of Ohio for the last 30 years? I wonder why people keep leaving. Republicans have been in power. So those 15 seats are split right now, 10 Republicans, 5 Democrats. By those numbers, it would mean that 67% of Ohio are Republican and 33 are Democrat. But let's take a look at the 2024 election. Trump won Ohio with 55% of the vote. So you could say Ohio, 55% are Republican and 45 are Democrat. By that ratio, the seats in Congress should be split. 8 Republican, 7 Democrat. But guess what Republicans want to do? They want to squeeze out 3 more seats. They want to gerrymander the state. 13 Republicans, 2 Democrats. They want us to believe that Ohio is 87% Republican and 13% Democrat. I mean, come on. Come on. And one final important element in all of this. Remember last fall when we were voting on issue 1? That measure would have taken politicians out of the map making process. It would have created a nonpartisan group to draw the maps. But do you know what those Republicans did? They purposely made the ballot language confusing to make it sound like issue 1 would actually lead to gerrymandering. Then they went around and spread that lie everywhere. And do you know why they used that tactic? Why they specifically put the word gerrymandering in there? Because they know how much Ohioans hate gerrymandering. And not only that, after it worked, after issue 1 failed, they bragged about it. They made fun of all of you Ohio voters who believed them. The Republican Party had a meeting and they patted themselves on the back and they bragged about how lying to you worked. That, my friends, is what happens when one party has too much unchecked power for too long. You need to share this video with friends, family, coworkers, neighbors. Let them know what Republicans have been doing in Ohio for the last 15 years. They've been doing all of this dirty work at the State House for years because we haven't been paying attention. We trusted them to do their jobs. We trusted them to do what we voted for. And also call your state lawmakers, especially if they're Republican. Call your state rep, call your state senator, and tell them how you feel about gerrymandering, how you feel about them ignoring the will of Ohio voters.